Okay, let's listen to this.
Class has started.
We are streaming.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of BFM Breakdown. Now, today, wanted to touch on a subject I haven't touched on in a little bit, but does have a pretty strong outcome in the fight, right? Your pursuit curves as well as your lift vector placement, right? There's a lot of examples throughout this fight that highlights its importance, and you're gonna see, how it affects decision making and everything else, right? So, before we even begin, right, just looking at like the first stream, I know I talked to a couple of people about this, right? But just based off of this first frame, right at the merge, right, when we're trying to decide what we're going to do, what do you see? What are some factors you can see right now from this first frame? Like, what's going on here? Anybody?
It seems like
Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up?
It seems like the bandit actually has the altitude advantage currently.
Okay, so no, our bandit's higher than us, right? Like, it is higher than our person here. Which, by the way, some video submitted by Jono. Thank you, Jono. If any of you want to submit videos, there's a section in the Discord specifically for that. We'll break down your videos as well. But yeah, no, our opponent has a bunch of altitude on us, right? Like, they're up here, and then from our point of view, like, we're down here, right? This is a little exaggerated, but when you look at this, especially in a jet, or honestly in any plane, right? You got to think of it like this. Okay, I've got all this room, right? Oh, here, I'll draw this in a different perspective, make it a little bit easier to see for you guys. There we go. So yeah, we look a little something like this, right? And we got all this room between you and your opponent, right? Think of it like this. It's exclusive turning room, right? Turning room that you can take advantage of, but your opponent cannot. It's like, oh, but CD, they're higher. They can just keep climbing. It's like, yeah, I mean, if we were in a prop, if you were in a prop plane, that might have some weight behind it, but we're not. We're in F-14s. Like, these things can climb forever, right? So we can use this room. You think, oh, but how can you use it, right? Well, if the water's here, right? Like, you got one person on the deck, and you got one person way up high. The only way that you can turn is up, right? And if they go to merge with you, they don't come down. Guess what? If they turn down, they're going into the water, right? So they've got two options here. They can either merge horizontally, right? Or they can merge vertically. Either way, as long as you have this distance between you and your opponent, you have exclusive turning room. And some people, they may have a hard time, visualizing that. Okay, well, here. Let's say this is our merge point. This line right here, we both merge here, and you both start coming up, right? Look at what's happening, right? Whoever's below, whoever has that exclusive turning room, is going to get their nose on first. Same turn, right? You come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the difference is the person who was able to capitalize on that exclusive turning room is going to get their nose on first, inherently, right? Like, it's one of the things you got to think about whenever you're setting up your fight. If you're able to do this, like whether or not it be with, you're on the deck, they're up high, or maybe there's like a mountain somewhere, some terrain that you can use to force them to turn a specific direction. If you can force exclusive turning room on your opponent, you're giving yourself a huge advantage early on in the fight, right? And if you could set that up early on in the fight, or the earlier that you can in the fight, the better it is for you, right? That makes sense to everybody? Like, just from that first frame, does that anybody got questions on what exclusive turning room is or how to use it? No? Okay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll get started here, right? So that very first turn, boom, we take advantage of that exclusive turning room. And right off the bat, bingo, bango, boingo, look at that, right? First turn, not even all the way through it, right? Halfway through that first turn, we've got nothing but winning cues. You see the burner, you got a nice thin-ish profile to shoot at, right? Or that you're seeing, you see a bit of a wide profile because you're not exactly behind your opponent, right? They're looking a little something like this, right? A little something like this, just to make it a little bit easier. I know they're oriented a different way. This is just so you can see it, right? So this person's out front. This person, they got the nose on. They could start firing at them, right? Still a little bit further behind, still a little bit of misalignment, but they got the nose on first, right? That's what that exclusive turning room gives you. So what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to go for the shot. All right, we got it in front of us. If you can end the fight as soon as you can, go for it. Go for the shot. Boom. But right here, right, I'm going to go back for a second. Right here, as soon as that first shot misses, right, you need to be anticipating, okay, I was just pulling lead pursuit, right? This is where we're going to go into our pursuit curves, right? So they were like this, and you're pulling lead to get your gunshot, right? Here's this guy's line. Here's yours. And you're pointing out front because you need to pull lead to shoot the person, right? What you need to be thinking about in this case, right, is like, okay, I'm in lead pursuit, lift vector's out in front of them. Closure is now going to be high, right? The more you push or the more that you pull in front of that opponent, the more and more you're going to go towards their front, right? I mean, you have to pull lead, though, to get a shot off, right? Unless they're not turning and you're right behind them, then it's like, okay, you don't need to pull lead at all. You know, you're at 0 aspect. Everything's nice and stable. But in this case, you have to pull lead, right? So you have to anticipate that whenever you pull that lead, your closure is increasing, right? And an overshoot is impending. So let's look at that again real quick, right? Let me get rid of all this. So we're going to go back and look at it real quick, right? Go for the shot. And right here, you can tell, boom, we just overshot their 3-9 line. But because of that exclusive turning room we had before, we go to lag pursuit or pure, right? Depending on what you want to do. You just hold them here, right? They're not pulling in. They're not, ditching into deep lag, trying to stabilize everything because we're already stable. You're in the assessment window already. Like, this more or less is already a winning position. You could sit here all day and maintain that distance between your bandit and your canopy bow, and they're not going to move, until they start trying to force closure aspect and range problems, right? Which even then, if you conduct follow-on BFM, like here, right, you're driving to where your opponent maneuvers first. Here, I'll pause this really quick just to visualize it, right? Right. You drive to where your opponent is maneuvering first, you're here, they're turning. And then you get to the point where they're turned, and then you start your turn with them, right? That's your follow-on BFM. Like, that's going to keep you nice and stable. Because if they start a turn and then you immediately start a turn, it's like, okay, now we got range, closure, and aspect problems. Like, you're still a low aspect, but your closure is increasing. And as your closure increases and you get closer and closer, your aspect starts to increase. And that's going to make your closure, even higher, and your range decrease even quicker. Right? So rather than doing that, you go to the point where they've maneuvered and you maneuver with them, right? That's just follow on BFM. It's going to keep you nice and stable. It's what you're watching right now, right? You can see they stay for the most part nice and stable in the canopy. Even though we went from a vertical into a horizontal, we're keeping them nice and stable. And now you're starting to see some offset, right? Like, you pull into lead, you go into lag, you can see they're going back and forth in the canopy. They're going from front to back. That's your offset, right? Anytime we talk about offset, we're talking about the alignment of two aircraft circles. So if my circle's here, right, and my opponent's circle's here, well, here, I should draw this vertically, not horizontally, right? There's my circle. There's my opponent's circle. This is what we're talking about on offset, right? And as you're going around, that's where you get those field of view changes, right? So, like, I come up around here, I start seeing my opponent get closer to the front, and then rapidly, as we cross each other, they dart towards the back, and same thing happens with my opponent, right? So if I took these planes here, right, and let's say, like, this is their circles, right? Like, this is their offset. This one's going this way. This one's going this way. As we're here, right, you're at like a 90-degree angle when you're looking at your opponent, right? You're looking right across at them, right? You should just see the flat profile of their aircraft. And this is also assuming that you are, this is assuming that you're completely neutral. But as you come around, now look what happens, right? Now this guy is having to look behind him, see his opponent, and vice versa. Come back around again, right? You get up to here. Now we're at a 90 again. And then, as you start coming back around there, oh, what's happening? This guy's upside down. But look at what's happening, right? Now our view is focused towards the front, right? We went from 90 to the rear, back to 90 to the front. right? That's how you can help recognize offset. And your lift vector placement and your pursuit curves can either help you stabilize or exaggerate your offset, right? Like you come up here and let's say, oh, okay, oh, boom, we just crossed each other, right? Now that I'm right about here, let's say, oh, this guy's going to start bleeding, right? This guy's holding on to it. He's taking the center of his circle and aligning it with the other guys, right, throughout a couple of turns. Like this is one thing that you can do trying to pull it from lead to lag or pure, if you want to either upset geometry or align it. And I mean, that's going to go into whether or not you're winning or losing. But for the most part, this looks pretty neutral, right? Like the cues you're getting from this, anytime you're looking at this image, right? We look up at our aircraft. Let's say this is a winning cue, right? You could exaggerate your offset here and you'll be just fine. I'm seeing the nice wide silhouette. I'm not really seeing not really seeing the nose, but our nose is pointing more towards them than theirs is to us. That tells you, okay, this person in this cockpit, they are winning this fight. They are further around the circle than this guy is. And it might be a little bit easier to see up there if you need it. But that's going to help you influence, your choices. So we'll go ahead and continue this, right? Right here, maybe if you want to stabilize it, you extend here and then you start bleeding in and then you do another extension right here. But we've got winning cues, right? So we pull the lead, and you see how much closer we are now? Just from that 1 second of lead pursuit, now that range between our circles is drastically closed in. Go to take another shot here, right? Boom. We're looking right at this image again. It's like, okay, cool. I'm about to pull the lead for another shot. Now, you saw in that last circle, right, where you got really close to one another, right? That range between your circles was closed in. But now you're pulling even more lead than before to try to get that gunshot. So what do you think is going to happen on this next turn, right? What do you think is going to happen if you miss this? Anybody? Cozy.
You're gonna keep leading, and then you're gonna, like, if you miss your shot, you might stall out or lose the circle fight.
I mean, you might stall out, yeah, if you don't have the energy, but we got 312 knots and we're at 10 AOA. We're not quite at a stall yet. I mean, Peachy just said it. Yeah, you're going to overshoot their plane of motion. You're going to overshoot it, right? As, that aspect increases and closure increases and range decreases, you start to get into an overshoot. And that's exactly what's happening here. So you got to think it's like, okay, I can pull for this shot, right? I can shoot this guy. But if I miss, right? I mean, obviously you're not trying to miss. You're trying to hit him. But if you miss, you need to plan for it, right? This is where that thinking ahead of time starts to come into play, right? So what do you think is going to happen here, right? If you overshoot, that guy could reverse, right? So keep pulling, right? You're already in the turn. You're already bleeding your speed. Just keep pulling it, right? They're going to reverse out in front of you. Or if they continue, you're already winning the fight. No problem. That's a missed reversal cue on them. They give up turning room to you. You continue into your turn. Maybe you get another opportunity to shoot them again. But that's not what happens here, right? So go for the shot. Oh, look at them. They're right here. There's your overshoot. Pre-planning that. Continuing the turn. Now, right here, here's another good talking point. Right? So we go into that overshoot. And now let's look at this, right? Our nose is pointing out this way, and you can see more of your opponent's nose. It's like, okay, they hit the reversal, and it's looking like they're gonna get a shot off, or they could get an opportunity at a shot off. Cool, that's fine. You're already winning the fight, right? Like even in that rate, when you went to go reverse, they reversed their turn or whatever. It's like, all right, I already know I was winning by energy, so it's safe to assume I've got more speed than them, right? Turn it into altitude. Because you can see, like, where their lift vector is, right? It's on us right now, or maybe up there. You'll be able to see it just a little bit better, right? Bigger screen. Their lift vector is on our plane. They are pulling into us. You assume, okay, they're trying to pull in for that shot. Let's defend this early on, right? So a couple things you can do is either A, if you have the altitude, which in this case, I mean, you kind of do, but you kind of don't. You could take your lift vector, point it below their plane, and jink downwards, right? Almost like a low yo-yo. Or, and this is the safer bet, take your lift vector and put it above them and jink upwards. You pass by them, right? Like they're coming down this way, or I'll try to visualize like this, right? Here we are. They're coming this way. You're up here, pull up above them. And then as you cross each other, then you hit your reversal, right? And you continue to maneuver in relation with your opponent. Because if you just sit here, right, and they're way out here, and you pre-turn that, like you're just turning out in front of them at that point. If you're ever going to reverse on somebody, you need to close the distance in. It's a mistake that we see a lot of people do. They don't close in that range first, because if we're way out here and you just start turning, it's like, oh, okay, cool. He just turned behind me. I just gave up free turning room to the guy. He's going to be like, oh, yes, thank you. Give me that, right? Exclusive turning room, you know? But continuing on. Oh, Jesus. There we go. We go above them, and then continue to maneuver in relation, right? Close the distance, and then reverse. Now we're looking at this, right? Just based off our cues, we got a nice wide silhouette, see a bit of the nose. You could argue that it's neutral, right? But they were about to beat us, right, on that turn just before. So it's like, okay, I'm going to assume here that they're going to beat me again, right? They already started off slower. They beat me in that other turn, that one that was just before this one. So their odds are they're probably going to beat me here again. So what are you going to do? Anybody? Can anybody take a guess? What did we say before? Like, what did we do on that turn before the armored?
Put your nose below his plane of motion?
Yeah, you take your lift vector, right? You put it either above or below him. You jink out of the way, right? We're preemptively doing these things. We're placing our lift vector where we want to defend to first, and then after closing our range, then we defend, right? Or then we hit our reversal. So let's see what happens here. They're getting the nose on, jink downwards, and then as we close the range, then we reverse, right? And we're keeping it nice and neutral. Do it again, just below. But now, look at this, right? This goes into that exclusive turning room way before.
Oh.
See what happened here? Where's their lift vector pointing?
They're going above
right?
us.
We're set up. Yeah, exactly. Like our plane is here. Their plane's up here, right? Look at all that room, between these two planes, these two aircraft. And their lift vector is off of ours, right? Big mistake. This is that pre-turn, right? Where they're giving up exclusive turning room. They turned way too early, didn't close in the distance, right? This is one of the things you need to key on. It's like, oh, hey, their lift vector's off me. They're giving me turning room. Like, it doesn't look like it, right? It's like, oh, well, CD, look at him. He's so close. There's no way he's giving up turning room. Yes, he is, because he's no longer turning towards us now. As soon as your opponent takes their lift vector off of you, that's your cue. It's like, okay, pull in now, right? That's going to give them a lot of closure issues, right? Before they were offensive, but now that they've given up lift vector placement, it's given us turning room to work with. So let's see what happens here. Look at all that room. Nice, juicy room.
Oh.
Uh-oh. There's the nose. Boom. Now we're offensive. Just in that one turn. Went from defensive to offensive. Look how far forward they are now. Continuing to maneuver in relation, right? And now look at this. We got a decision to make here. All right? Most people will go for that gunshot, right? They're out front for the most part. You got a nice big silhouette, very juicy target, right? But there's not a lot of range there, right? It doesn't take a whole lot of time to cover that amount of range, especially if you pull lead pursuit to go for that gunshot. So, I mean, yeah, you could go for the quick snapshot, or, in my opinion, better idea, stabilize your position first. You're already in a winning position, right? Why do you want to compromise that? So, just based off of what we're looking at, how can we stabilize ourselves here? Anybody have any ideas? Armored.
Go into lag?
Go into lag? Yeah. Dude, you're awesome. All right, I bet, Sonny, I saw you right. I'm pretty sure you were going to say the exact same
I
thing.
forgot the terminology. I was going to say the same thing.
Exactly. Like, go into lag pursuit. Like, if you don't think you're going to kill them on that, yeah, just go into lag pursuit, right? That's going to increase your range. It's going to decrease your closure. It's going to stabilize your position. So let's see what happens. Exactly what happens. You go into lag pursuit, go over them, and now we got a way better shot opportunity. Look how much further out that is. Less closure, way more stable. Now look at this position that they're in. That person's stuck out front, constantly scissoring, right? And crossing the nose for all these snapshots, right? And with each one, you see him get closer and closer. But because of just that one maneuver, right? That one maneuver that stabilizes our position, that one pull to lag pursuit, like, yeah, it stabilizes our offensive position. You can even see it right here, right? You follow through with your turns. Like, each turn you can see they pass first and then reverse. Like, that's stabilizing your position, right? That's pulling or committing to that lag pursuit, even in the scissors, right? Just for that 1 second, it can really, really stabilize you. And now you got all this range to work with. nice and stable. Even in that pre-turn, it's like, okay, I got so much energy, I'm just going to pull right into him. Keeping it nice and tight, keeping the pressure on. And now look at this. They're out front. Closure is very, very low. And the position's stable. Now it's just follow on BFM. Stick to your lag or pure pursuit. Don't give them any a chance for any closure. See, you maneuver to where they go first, and then you start to turn with them. Quick snapshot. It's like, okay, boom. You ensure the kill. Just from that one pull the lag pursuit, gave Jono here a nice and stable enough position to follow through with that scissors, right? Even though everything was going from high to low aspect very quickly, that one pull to lag stabilized him enough to where he could get the kill. What's up, Armored? You got a question?
If Jono hadn't missed that last shot, would he have been reversed?
Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this last one. Right, so he's nice and stable right here. We're not quite at the last shot yet. Shots out, quick snapshots. Like, yes, you could have, but you see how he slowed down? It's like, if you're at an energy deficit, it's like, okay, cool. We'll go up, increase our range again, and then start maneuvering in relation again, right? Yeah. That's one thing you could do. We could talk about hypotheticals all day, be like, oh, you do that, and tell you that, yes, that's going to work. But in practice, like, it's... how should I say it? It's much more effective to see it in practice than it is to be like, oh, if you do this, this, and this, in this hypothetical situation that I just made up, you'll win the fight, right? It's like, okay, maybe, but in reality, you don't really know until you go out and fight, right? Like, that's why BFM is only considered a theory, right? You hear people even hear Ben say it all the time, the theory of BFM, right? Because, like, there's not really a way to prove it other than when you go out and do it in real time, because not every single fight's going to be the same. You could be fighting somebody in a different plane that has better performance in a different fight than you, right? Like, let's say that was an SU-30. It's got way more, pitch authority than the F-14 does. It's got a lot more lift, a little less drag. It's very floaty, right? It's like, oh, yeah, if they were in an SU-30, they could have just reversed their turn and stuck with them and would have got the kill. It's like, yeah, they could have. But at the same time, if that F-14 stayed nice and fast, I could also say, oh, no, he's going to pull into the vertical, hold on to his energy, and just rip around the circle on the Su-30, right? We could talk about hypotheticals all day, but until you actually go out and do it, you won't know. You know what I mean? The nice thing, though, is that because with BFM also being a theory, it's also a science. There is a science behind it. And the science to it has been proven too, throughout history, right around World War II, give or take, is when, pilots, at least, American pilot, I don't know too much about British, German, or Japanese pilots, they started to recognize where they're like, hey, if we do these specific actions, right, like if I see that person pulling in, they are spending their kinetic energy, their airspeed to get that turn. And if I hold on to mine just for a little bit and I climb over them, I can get around this circle faster than they can, right? Ben's a lot better at, remembering all the people that came up with the theory, wrote the books and everything about it, right? But that's something that they got from observation, right? They're like, okay, I could sit here and talk about, oh, dogfighting's nothing but whoever can pull their nose on the other guy first, right? Because for a long time, at least in the beginning stages of it, that's what dogfighting was. Until a group of people recognized, hey, if I do this, this, and this, when this happens, I could bleed them of their energy and rip around the circle and just shoot them, right? Because they're not going to be able to follow me. Fun stuff like that. But any other questions? Anything that you guys want to see again? Comments, concerns, recommendations?
I have a question.
What's up? Oh, okay. Thank you.
I got a actual question.
There's no way it was that boring.
All right, what's up?
During the beginning of before that merge, there was another. Can you draw the same thing from the very beginning of the first merge for the merge?
Oh, you talk exclusive turning room? Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Oh, the exclusive turning room.
So I'll draw it a little bit bigger this time. So that's where your opponent was. Here's where they were. I'll reverse it really quick too, just so that way you can see it on the screen. Oh Jesus, okay. I don't know if it's gonna let me go all the way back. You know what?
What's
Easy
going on
mode.
back there?
I'll just reload it.
Okay.
Whatever.
That'll take us right to the beginning. It's almost there. Give it 1 second.
I forgot my sound was on.
I like how it says that and it starts loading. It starts loading even slower. You gotta be kidding me here. Nope. Okay. Or it's just gonna
Dopamine.
get rid of
Yeah.
it altogether. Okay. Either way. So yeah, here. This is where we were at. All right. I'll draw it out.
So say your opponent is above. Can't the opponent just do a circle while the one who is down below goes vertical, keeping their speed?
I mean, yeah,
And
you
while
could. I mean, you could, right? I mean, this goes into keep a line of sight on your opponent so you know what they're doing, right? Like, if
Yeah.
they decide they want to go horizontal, like if you're keeping a line of sight on them, you go vertical. You could still be cutting into their circle, just going vertical, or
I forgot to mute
you hit them
my
with
mic.
or you hit them with a diagonal one, right? Like halfway between it. That way, you're cutting into their circle, but you're maintaining some more of your energy. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. General rule of thumb, though, if you're this guy, you need to meet this guy, right? Especially if you're in a jet, right? Because it's like, oh, I can't hit him with an energy deficit when I have a thrust to weight ratio of 4, right? Like, this guy can just climb up with me. You could. I'll make the argument that if you're in a prop plane, like, yes, there's a disadvantage to giving this guy exclusive turning room, right? He's going to get position on first, but because he has to climb more to get that shot, and you just ride your energy out, then you could energy trap him, right? But that's if you're in a prop, and again, that goes into hypotheticals and everything. If this guy's good and he knows his minimums for his plane, right? Like, he could just ride out that turn and do it because, like, this guy's probably going to go wide, or if they decide to bleed in, this guy's already coming up, he could bleed in with him, neutralize the fight or whatever. But if this guy's going nice and wide, this guy could just cut into the circle, right? And then once he gets up to that same altitude, then he could widen out and just hold his speed and climb up with you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I've seen that happen before too. There's been many times, right, where like in mid Palau, you go to merge with somebody, and you start out low, or they start out maybe a little bit higher, and they take these super wide climbing turns, and then you go to merge with them, and it's like, okay, I'm going to cut in right here, and then as soon as I get to a stable climbing, I guess, angle, I'm already cut in. I've still got a bit of speed. I'm not as fast as this person, but I've got enough speed to where I can maintain it, like 200, 230 knots. I'm just going to maintain it and climb up with them. And because I've already cut into their circle, it's like I'm eventually going to catch up to them. I'm already in this climb. I'm maintaining my minimum speeds and everything. I'm good. You know what I mean? But again, that goes into hypotheticals and everything of BFM and fights. Until you actually go to do it, it's like, okay, proof's in the pudding, as they say. I hope that made sense and answered your question.
I got some information that's filled in. Yep. That'll
Okay.
do.
Okay. Anybody
You
else?
got a question, Jen? No.
No? Okay. Cool. If there's no other questions, if there's nothing else that people want to go over, we'll go ahead. We'll get the instance fired up. F-16s. Happy fun times.
All right.
Sweet.
All
Oh, my
right.
headset's gonna die.
You learned something.
Dude, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Probably.
I'm on a 4-year-old
Just open
quest
up the
too.
world. I'm gonna get the world up, and then
I'm
I'm
100%
I'll have
available.
Jono here
I'm
drop a
100%
portal for you
visual on
guys to come.
I'm still